who are here with us tonight, as well as Prime Minister Bennett and Head of the Opposition Netanyahu for their leadership and partnership throughout the pandemic. True to its history of innovation, compassion, and being a beacon of hope for the world, Israel continues to be one of the leaders in the battle against COVID-19. It was an incredibly moving and personal experience. And tomorrow evening I will have the honor of addressing the graduating class of the Technion Institute. This trip has evoked wonderful memories of my first visit to Israel 45 years ago. I spent nearly 2 months here when I was 15 years old, and I was amazed by the Israeli people's sense of pride and welcoming nature. It was palpable, it was energizing, and it was uplifting. And it was clear to me, even as a teenager, that Israel was committed to being a safe harbor for Jews from around the world. My mother, Bורlא, who always said to us, nothing is impossible. I can still vividly remember her waving her finger and telling me, don't you tell me you can do it. Just go and do it. When I was nervous, actually about running for class president as a young student. You see, I was the only Jewish in the school for the first 5 years until my cousin came to the school. And I was concerned that I might not be elected because of that. Thankfully, I followed my mother's advice and eventually I won. My mother's courage and optimism came from her experience of narrowly escaping death and the hands of the Nazis. In fact, both of my parents turned their experience surviving the Holocaust into something positive and life-affirming. This clearly helped shape my worldview and ignited my desire to pursue a purpose-driven career that would benefit others. This belief that nothing is impossible. In that spirit, I'm thrilled to say that there are 2 extraordinary people in the audience who have dedicated more than 6 decades to preserving the memories of those murdered in the Holocaust. Serge and Beata Klausfeld. Beata is the German-born daughter of non-Jewish parents, whose father fought in the German army. Serge is a Romanian-born son of Jewish parents, whose father was captured by the French VC police and killed in Auschwitz. Together, they chronicled the lives of 75,000 French Jews killed by the Nazis, 100 German Nazis and French VC officials responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Jews, and were instrumental in having German law changed to allow the extradition of Nazis, and the French government officially recognizing responsibility for the crimes of the VC government. Foundations and myself are making a donation to support the important work of the sons and daughters of Jewish deportees from France, a foundation established by the Klausfelds more than 40 years ago.
For a once-in-a-century pandemic that claimed millions of lives. Dr. Albert Bורlא is not only worthy of the Jewish Nobel Prize, he is worthy of that other, slightly less famous, Swedish Nobel Prize. Albert and his team won the race to develop the vaccine because day after day, week after week, month after month, he instilled in his employees and his partners an understanding that time is life. Every day lost meant lives would be lost. Every day saved meant lives would be saved. Time is life. That is the Bורlא doctrine. I suspect it was inspired by the remarkable story of your mother, Sarah. Hiding from the Nazis, she was discovered, arrested, and lined up against the wall with several other prisoners who were to be executed. Moments before the Nazis opened fire, a soldier arrived on a motorcycle and handed some papers to the man in charge of the firing squad. Moments later, as she was being taken away, she heard machine gun fire mowing down those left behind. Time is life. Sarah returned to Thessaloniki, one of only 2,000 Jewish survivors from a proud community that once numbered 50,000 strong. There she met another survivor, Moïse. They married and had 2 children, Albert and his sister. Those who think that the survival of Sarah and Moïse Bורlא did not make a difference, consider this. 8 decades ago, the Nazis devised a meticulous plan to perpetrate the worst crime in history. 2 years ago, the son of these 2 Holocaust survivors devised a meticulous plan to overcome one of the worst plagues in history. As World War II drew to a close, Adolf Hitler diverted resources to murder as many Jews as possible. As COVID engulfed the world, Albert Bורlא diverted resources to save as many people as possible. In May 1944, the Nazis murdered over 10,000 Jews every day at Auschwitz. In May 2021, the Pfizer vaccine saved more than 10,000 people every day around the world. Winston Churchill, speaking about the remarkable heroism of the Royal Air Force, said that never have so many owed so much to so few. But that is even more true about the remarkable team led by Dr. Bורlא. Never have so many owed so much to so few. It was a triumph of the human spirit, but it was also a triumph of the Jewish spirit, the spirit of Albert Bורlא. I saw that spirit when I asked Albert to light a candle at the virtual Hanukkah celebration of the Israeli Embassy in Washington. When I made that request, I knew Albert for all of 1 week, and I thought there was a good chance he would politely decline my invitation. Over the years, I have met many Jews in prominent positions who shy away from showcasing their Jewish identity. The more those Jews climb up the social and economic ladder, the more they distance themselves from their Jewish heritage. So I didn't have high expectations from the CEO of Pfizer. I didn't think he would be prepared to demonstrate his Jewish pride. But when I watched the video Albert sent me, I saw the depth of that pride. He was wearing a large kippah and stood in front of a giant menorah. Instead of mouthing a few platitudes about the holiday of lights, Albert spoke passionately about the story of Hanukkah. He even thanked God. Over the next few weeks, I saw Albert's Jewish pride and values countless times. I saw it in his determination. Time is right. Time is life. And the early arrival of those vaccines literally saved thousands of Israeli lives. That is why the people of this country owe you an eternal debt of gratitude. But we are not alone. Millions of people across the world are alive today because of your leadership in driving the development and production of a vaccine. You've heard tonight, in videos and from President Herzog, the famous Talmudic dictum that says, "He who saves a single life saves a world." By that standard, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Albert Bורלא has saved entire galaxies. How fitting that a savior of galaxies would win the Genesis Prize.